Silence is not empty. It is a space. And in the context of human connection, it is one of the most powerful, most misunderstood forces available. When a man, particularly in a moment of conflict, emotion, or uncertainty, chooses to stay silent, he is not doing nothing. He is doing something profound. He is creating a void. And human psychology, specifically the female mind, which is often more attuned to the nuances of social and emotional connection, abhors a void. The longer that silence is held, the deeper the effect. It is not a trick. It is a fundamental law of psychological gravity. The silence you create is a vacuum, and her mind will rush to fill it. What it fills it with is the source of the power. We are not discussing the silent treatment. The silent treatment is passive-aggressive, manipulative, and a tool of weakness. It is a childish attempt to punish. It is rooted in anger and a desire to cause pain. It is fragile. We are discussing stoic silence. A silence that is active, controlled, and rooted in strength. It is a silence of observation, not of malice. It is the silence of a man who has mastered his internal world, who is not reactive to the external world. He does not add chaos to chaos. He observes it. This distinction is the most important element to understand. When you remain silent, the first thing that happens is the interruption of a pattern. In a disagreement, the script is predictable. She voices a concern, perhaps with frustration or anger. She expects a defense. She expects an argument. She expects a counterattack. She expects you to raise your voice, to justify, to explain, to crumble, or to explode. When you provide none of these, the script is broken. She has delivered her line, and you have refused to deliver yours. This is a profound psychological jolt. The emotional energy she projected at you has nowhere to go. It hits the wall of your silence and bounces back to her. This is the first stage, introspection. Forced to sit with the echo of her own words, she must now re-examine them. She must ask herself, what did I just say? Did I mean it? Was that fair? Your silence becomes a mirror. You are not judging her, so she must judge herself. You are not attacking her words, so she must analyze them. If her actions were unjust or her words were unfair, your silence amplifies her own conscience. There is no louder sound than the voice of one's own regret in a quiet room. You gave her the space to hear it. The longer you stay silent, the more this mirror solidifies. Her mind must confront itself. She is left alone with her own emotions, and she must now process them without the distraction of a fight. This is a deep, unsettling, and often transformative experience. She is not feeling you at this point. She is feeling herself, and you are the catalyst. The second stage is uncertainty and imagination. The human mind is a narrative machine. It must have a story. It must connect the dots. When you provide no dots, her mind will create them. Your silence is a blank canvas. In the first few minutes, it might be interpreted as listening. After an hour, it is interpreted as processing. After a day, it is something else entirely. Her imagination begins to paint on that canvas. And her imagination is far more potent, far more vivid than any words you could have spoken. She will project her deepest fears onto your silence. He is pulling away. He is angry. He finally sees that I am not good enough. He has found someone else. He is thinking about leaving me. She will also project her deepest hopes. He is finally taking this seriously. He is thinking about how to fix this. He is respecting me enough to think before he speaks. She will oscillate between these two poles, between fear and hope. This oscillation creates a powerful emotional tension. She is not reacting to you. She is reacting to the narratives she is creating in her own mind, all because you refuse to provide one. The longer you stay silent, the more detailed these narratives become. You are no longer just a man. You are a mystery. And a mystery is compelling. It demands to be solved. She cannot stop thinking about you. She replays every past interaction, searching for clues, for evidence to support one narrative over the other. You are occupying her mind without saying a single word. This is not manipulation. It is a consequence of her mind's own mechanism. You have simply stepped out of the way and allowed her psychology to do its work. The third stage is perceived strength and value. This is where stoicism is central. A man who cannot control his words is perceived as a man who cannot control his emotions. A man who cannot control his emotions is perceived as weak. He is reactive. He is a slave to the moment. He is buffeted by the winds of circumstance. A man who can stay silent in the face of provocation, anger, or chaos demonstrates profound strength. He demonstrates that his internal state is not dependent on her external one. He has an inner citadel, as the Stoics would say. He cannot be emotionally pulled into her storm. This is incredibly rare. We live in a world of constant reaction. We type angry comments, we shout back, we defend our ego at all costs. The man who can simply be, who can sit in the fire without being burned, is demonstrating a form span of control that is almost superhuman. This control is perceived as high value. It signals emotional stability. It signals maturity. It signals that he is a rock, a foundation, rather than a leaf in the wind. A woman does not feel safe with a man who is as emotionally volatile as she might be in a given moment. She feels safe with a man who can anchor her. Your silence is the anchor. It communicates far more effectively than words. I am here. I am not leaving. I am not rattled. I am strong enough to handle this emotion, both yours and mine. This perception of strength is deeply, primally attractive. She feels it as a form of respect, not just for her, but for himself. He respects himself too much to be drawn into a petty, reactive fight. As the silence stretches, this perception solidifies. He is not weak, he is disciplined. He is not afraid, he is controlled. He is not ignoring her, he is observing the situation with clarity. This is why the length of the silence is critical. A short silence is just a pause. A long silence is a statement of character. Let us explore the mechanism of attachment. Many people, particularly women, are wired with a high sensitivity to relational connection. When that connection is threatened, or seems to be, the attachment system activates. It is an alarm bell. The connection is in jeopardy. Do something. Your silence, your perceived withdrawal, is a powerful trigger for this system. Her mind begins to flood with questions. Where did he go? Is he coming back? Did I do something to push him away? This triggers a form of anxiety. It's the anxiety of potential loss. This anxiety is a powerful emotion. It makes her feel the importance of the connection. Often we do not know the value of something until we feel the threat of its absence. Your silence creates a controlled absence. You have not left, you are still there. But your emotional engagement is paused. This is enough to sound the alarm. This anxiety can drive her to try and fix the connection. She may become softer. She may apologize. She may try to re-engage with more affection or vulnerability. Your silence has given her the space to miss you, to value you, and to actively seek to restore the bond. If you had yelled back, you would just be two people fighting. By being silent, you have become the person who holds the power of the connection itself. You have become the person whose presence is now clearly, deeply felt by its partial absence. This is why the silence must be wielded correctly. If your silence is cold, punishing, and filled with contempt, she will feel that. She will feel the malice. That is the silent treatment, and it will breed resentment and destroy trust. But if your silence is calm, stable, and even warm, if it communicates, I am here and I am thinking, she will feel that too. She will feel your presence, not your absence. She will feel your strength, not your contempt. The man who practices stoic silence is not playing a game. He is practicing a discipline. He understands that most arguments are won not by the person who speaks the loudest, but by the person who maintains their logos, their reason, their internal calm. When you speak, your words should have weight. If you are always talking, always reacting, your words become cheap. They are noise. But if you are silent, when you do choose to speak, your words land with the force of a hammer. The prolonged silence acts as a filter. It filters out the emotional static, the ego, the reactivity. What is left is the core issue. While she is filling the vacuum with her assumptions and anxieties, she is also, often, arriving at the truth. The truth of her behavior, the truth of the situation. Your silence gives her the time and space to do the emotional labor that you cannot do for her. She cannot argue with your silence. She cannot defeat it. She can only interact with it. And the interaction is almost entirely internal, within her own mind. You are forcing her to wrestle with herself. And the longer you allow this to happen, the deeper the match goes. She will exhaust her own anger. She will exhaust her own justifications. She will be left with the simple, unadorned facts of the situation. This is what feeling it means. She feels the mirror you have held up. She feels the void your absence of reaction has created. She feels the narratives her own mind is spinning. She feels the power of your emotional control. She feels the anxiety of a potentially fractured connection. She feels the deep magnetic pull of a man who is centered, stable, and strong. She feels respect for a man who does not need to shout to be heard. It is a profound psychological process. The longer you stay silent, from a place of controlled, stoic strength, the more of these layers are activated. It moves from a simple pause to a pattern interrupt, to a psychological mirror, and finally, to a fundamental statement of your character and value. Do not use silence as a weapon. Use it as a shield. A shield that protects your own peace, and in doing so, creates the space for true understanding to emerge. The goal is not to win. The goal is to maintain your self-possession. And in that self-possession, you become a force that she cannot ignore. She will feel it more deeply than any argument you could ever make.